Little light treason. A group of Democratic lawmakers with military backgrounds releasing a video urging service members to refuse illegal orders from Trump. Watch.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Or Navy?
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
So is that a little light treason, Greg?
It's just one really simple question. Who put that together? I'm just curious, like, was that like something that came up over drinks at a bar? Because they don't mention any law that's being broken. They don't even get some specific about it. So it's kind of, it's a psyop, really what it is. Because I'm just curious, who made the phone calls? Who said this was a wise idea? And because I'm trying to think, wouldn't I already know what they're talking about? And I don't know what they're talking about. Are they insinuating something about the National Guard? I mean, there are 1,000 National Guard in New York City subways, thanks to Hochul. They're still situated in New York since 9/11. So I don't know. Is that wrong? It sounds treasonous until they explain what it is. But the only way you can find it is some journalist has to call up each office and go, who organized this? Can I just mention this stuff about the Chicago mayor? There is a civil war brewing in Chicago. It's the thousands of black citizens who are up in arms over their incompetent, race-baiting mayor who just basically rose property taxes in some neighborhoods 100%. So he's basically taking, in the identity politics pyramid, illegal immigrants on the very top, because that's where the money's going, and on the bottom are the black citizens. And that was a perfect example of that podcast. You had two awfuls, affluent white female liberals with Brandon in the middle. He couldn't find any black women to support him. He can't find any black men to support him, but he'll get these two women who I don't believe they live in Chicago, who are supporting him because they're not the brunt of the consequences of his horrible, horrible policies.
Kennedy.
Oh, yes. So I was texting with my SESI legal domestic partner, who's also a combat veteran, and was really clarifying what the Uniform Code of Military Justice is and what it requires of people who swear an oath to the Constitution. They do swear an oath to the Constitution, and in the Constitution, the president is the commander-in-chief. And in order to disobey the chain of command, something has to be manifestly unlawful. And he said an example of that would be what happened at Abu Ghraib. That was manifestly unlawful. Those were not lawful orders that they were following. But there is a very, very big difference between what the commander-in-chief has deemed to be lawful and constitutional and what Democrats dislike. So obviously there's this subjective realm where Democrats see something as being icky. So they're trying to trigger a military coup, which would throw us into a constitutional crisis, which would then mean that they were turning their backs on the oath that they swore to the Constitution itself.
Are they trying to trigger a military coup, Jessica?
No coup. No coup from us. From the Uniform Code of Military Justice, it says each member of the armed services has a duty to comply with the law of war in good faith, and 2, refuse to comply with clearly illegal orders to commit violations of the law of war. So Senator Slotkin from Michigan was the lead on this video.
CIA.
Former CIA. Is that a problem?
Yes, it is.
Okay, of course.
Because if this is a psyop, we know what's going on.
Well, first of all, there are people who are in the video who are not CIA. There are people from all branches
That
of the
doesn't disprove
military.
my point.
Okay. So the concrete example that she gives, and she did an interview about this, goes back to 2020 when Donald Trump asked about shooting protesters in the legs after George Floyd was murdered, and then Secretary of Defense Mark Esper said, no, you absolutely can't do that. Further reason for why they created this video.
Whoa. You're talking about that? That's the reason why they did this?
I'm not done, though. I'm giving you the rationale.
This is absolutely hilarious.
At least I did the due diligence to find out what this was.
You are trying to answer a question that they don't have an answer for. There is no crime they're trying to prevent.
Well, what Senator Slotkin said was that this group who's in the video had been getting a lot of outreach from people who are currently serving that are concerned about a few things. One, the strikes in the Caribbean.
Why did they say it then?
Why?
Why wasn't that in the video?
Should have. If I were redoing the video, I would say it.
There's military lawyers that sign
Yes,
off
and,
on all this
and
stuff.
no, and that they are also going into their local JAG officers saying that they are concerned, also about being deployed to U.S. cities. And we saw when Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth
They could have
addressed
showed all of
the
this.
All the
generals,
lawyers are
they
handling
said
all of this
that you are going to have to fight the quote enemy within and use our cities as training grounds
This is
for our
T-
military.
This is TDS.
That-
This
Yeah.
is their TDS.
None of that.
Except if anybody's going to complain to JAGs, they have TDS about what they think they're up to.
And he pretty much said that stage 4 TDS. That's what the Secretary of War's reaction was.
Good.
So I just think disappointment. You have to be disappointed because the party that really is scaring people with the rise of socialism, with Mamdani here, and they got a congressman running for Naylor's seat that's a socialist, and a socialist one in Seattle, and a socialist is primarying Hakeem Jeffries. You think, well, those moderates have an opportunity to show some sanity. Instead, you get 3 veterans, I guess the CIA, who knows intelligence, like Sotkin, Crow, and Kelly, come out and basically give us a 2-minute riddle. It's a riddle. We're supposed to figure it out on our own. And basically says, hey, if you see something you don't like, just don't do it. Like, for example, if there's a sailor right now watching us on the Gerald R. Ford, pull over at Tobago and get off. Because you don't have to stay on the ship anymore because you don't like the Venezuelan operation. And also, wouldn't it be great if someone stood up to Joe Biden and said, sober up, pal. If we leave Afghanistan, we'll leave thousands of people behind, including billions of equipment that could be used for terrorists. I don't think we should do that. But no, let's stay in one line because no one thought to do this very curious video who are Republicans. This is just a huge disappointment. If I'm a Democrat,
No one can defend this.
Yeah,
No one can defend
this
this.
is so
They
terrible.
didn't say what it was about. They didn't say where it came from. You gave these reasons, but you had to go back. You really had to cobble that together, Jessica.
Well, I'm willing to do the work.
So, I mean, it's kind of scary to think that they did this out of like,
I know.
it's weird.
Because these are the people you depend on to be sober and sane.
Yeah.
I
They're
thought so.
definitely so.
Right. Okay. I'll give you that. They probably are not high and drunk. I'll give you that. That's the only thing I can say for sure.
Coming up next.